Hello to our loyal viewers. You came back for week 2. Welcome to NHL Chatroom live right now on Sportsnet's YouTube and Facebook channels. I'm Ailish, and you are not sick of Steve yet, because clearly you're still here.
Yeah, I am the reason you're coming back, for sure. That's what I learned from the comments, for sure.
Last week was our best show ever, I must say.
Oh, definitely. We've never done one better than that. No.
It's truly now the bar we need to reach. So let's see if we can do that tonight. We want to see more engagement in the chat. So let us know where you're watching from right now and who you think will hoist the cup. I want to see those comments and get fiery about it, because I like to see everyone arguing as well. Keeps me entertained.
if I can offer some advice, pick one of the 4 teams that are left.
That's so boring, Steve.
Oh, well, the other advice I was going to say is pick the Leafs, but it's terrible advice.
I want to see someone pick the Markham Thunder.
Hey, well, they're champions, so.
It's right. If anyone got that, then that's a win for me today.
I like your reaction. That's right.
You know that. I'm so proud of you. Okay.
Of course I do. Of course I do.
Steve, my one thing I was told is to keep you in line. So let's get started with today's top headlines. The Tampa Bay Lightning. Is the cup theirs to lose this year? And it's really starting to feel that way for me. I mean, they came into this series extremely well rested. Obviously, they stomped the Islanders 8-2, and they were my bandwagon last week, so I take that one a little bit hard. But can anybody stop the Tampa Bay Lightning at this point?
Man, well, this Kucherov, that's unfair, and it doesn't even show the pickoff in the defensive zone at the beginning of it. It's so unfair. I have learned to never count on anything when it comes to the Stanley Cup playoffs. You just never know. When you said, is the cup the Tampa Bay Lightning's to lose, we could have easily started the show last year and opened with that question, and then they got swept by the Blue Jackets. So I agree with you calling them a wagon. They're absolutely unreal, but I'm not ready to crown them just yet. Not even the Kings of the East.
Okay, so let's talk specifically about Brayden Point, because he's starting to look like he's not even a human being at this point. And I mean, I saw some pretty crazy tweets, and I know you want to get into a little bit about how he got into the NHL, because it's quite the story.
Well, I mean, he had 5 points. Chris Johnson was tweeting about that, and I said, let that sink in. You see, because I took French up until grade 10. I'm a very smart guy. So he went 79th overall in 2014. And, you know, there's steals all the time. But this isn't a late bloomer. This isn't a guy who just one day figured it out. This is a miss. It was an obvious miss. And so many people were talking about that after the game. I think we got some tweets of people who thought they were smarter than NHL executives, and I think they're right. Adam Herman from Blue Shirt Banner, you know who didn't miss on him? Stats Nerds, who almost unanimously voted Point as a no doubt top 20 pick. So this sent me down a rabbit hole, and I went to Canucks Army. They had a bunch of their writers say who they thought should go in the top 20 of the 2014 draft. Now, I believe 3 of those writers ended up going on to work for NHL teams, and 4 of the 5 had Brayden Point top 20. Guy had 96 points. His main crime was being short, but not the only crime. Forfar.
There's a really tough one that he didn't pass, right?
Jeff Merrick never misses a thing. When we were all talking about the Brayden Point stories, I'll go you one better. There's an NHL team who passed on Brayden Point at that draft because his force plate results at the combine were bad. Felt he would never be an elite athlete. I don't know who that person was. They should maybe be fired. For everyone who's a little confused, you've done the force plate. What is it?
I've done the force plate. You basically strap these bands or these measurements on you, and you have to jump on a plate just to see like how explosive you are. I mean, not the end of the world if you can't use that lower body strength on a tiny mat to show your leg power. Like, it's shocking to me that they saw that his score was low and were like, this guy's not got it. Like, I've done so many weird fitness tests, like having to get a specific amount of chin-ups. Like, I'm not still sure how chin-ups really relay into me being a good hockey player, but you should trust the nerds.
Yes, exactly. And you know where he scored pretty good? 96 points as a 17-year-old. And
That will do it.
he wasn't riding the shoulders of another teammate, which can happen in a draft year. Brayden Point was over 30 more points than his next highest scoring teammate in junior in his draft year. So how that guy fell out of the first round, let alone to 79th, there should be some teams kicking themselves, including the Tampa Bay Lightning, who passed on him at least twice in that very same draft.
So a couple comments that I'm seeing is from Noah, like Noah, probably named Noah, says Point is the best player in the league right now. He's definitely up there, Noah. We've got a lot of comments about your headphones, Steve. People are really impressed that you've upgraded because I called you a peasant, probably. I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah, you were making fun of my Help Me I'm Poor headphones. And I don't know when that happened. I like those headphones. I like those earbuds, but yeah, these are a little, I'm just going to call them my orange headphones on account of we don't have a headphone sponsor.
One more comment I need to get is Stokely Hoff says, I'm watching from Florida and you know damn well who's winning. So we've got international viewership. We want to keep hearing from you all over maybe the world. Someone's like awake in Russia right now watching maybe. I want to know.
I like how they just said awake in Russia right now. Like you were the only thing I could find. All right, I'll take it. I will be your silver medal.
Enough. So we'll move on from we'll move on to Vegas from the other side of the league. I mean, I'm getting ahead of myself thinking it's going to be Lightning and Vegas, but at this point, it kind of seems that could be the case. So if we look on the other side of the league, Vegas might have found their number one netminder, in my opinion, and your opinion. I want to know, should they lock into Leonard for the rest of this playoff run as long as it is?
Yes, I think they already have that picture that Alan Walsh tweeted. Marc-Andre Fleury, his agent, Alan Walsh, tweeted about the sword going through his back. Instead of saying DeBoer, yeah, instead of saying DeBoer, it should say 4 shutouts in his last 5 games or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Robin Lehner is spectacular. And it shouldn't listen. Marc-Andre Fleury is a starting goaltender with a crazy career who's just having a bit of an off season. But when Vegas got Robin Lehner at the deadline, I was saying they might have the best tandem in the league. And now they probably got the best goalie remaining in the playoffs. And behind him, they got Marc-Andre Fleury. Like, woe is them. Like, how can you guys not get along and just cruise your way to a cup? Shut up and just stop pucks. That's it.
Because goalies are weird. That's just a well-known thing.
That is true. Do you play with weird goalies?
Is there such thing as a non-weird goalie? I actually know a couple goalies that can pass it, and you're like, oh, you're a goalie. I didn't really. Oh, now I see. Oh, yeah. Like you're like, now I get why you're a little bit weird. But I love goalies. I love goalie hugs. It's the best part of hockey because I'm not usually on the ice for the actual celly.
Wow. One time.
Bald DeGee is watching from Northern Ireland, and I bet there's a bunch of Ailishes in Northern Ireland. So hello to all of the Northern Ireland Ailishes, because that's probably my friends. That's it.
Oh, there you go.
And he says just started watching ice hockey 2 weeks ago. That is lovely. And he decided to tune into our show. I really appreciate that.
And they call it ice hockey.
Right. It's really cute. Who's going to win? That. Bald DeGee, I want to know.
Oh, okay, so you think Ailish has already made up her mind.
Yeah, that's fine. Whoops, I got ahead of the game. So we're both on the same page that Leonard should be riding out the rest of the playoffs. I mean, it might be interesting to see how Fleury's relationship with the team will go after this season. I've heard some rumors that Leonard's like looking into a contract extension with Vegas already. So does that push Fleury out the door? It'll be interesting. Is Alan Walsh watching? Can you comment on your thoughts?
Listen. That dude, that tweet was so stupid because who on God's green earth was cheering against Marc-Andre Fleury? Seriously, who ever had a problem with Marc-Andre Fleury? The dude's got this bashful Disney character like demeanor and beautiful teeth. I'm always very jealous of his amazingly white teeth. Whoever had a problem, I don't care. He's a beautiful man. Whoever had a problem with Marc-Andre Fleury before that tweet, whoever cheered against him, unless your team was playing against him.
I don't know, but
I always thought
sure
he was
some people in the comments will. Oh, it's a very good. analogy, actually.
Yeah.
All right. Since we're talking about decisions made by coaching staff, we should move on to our next topic, which is going to be something that's decided in about an hour. It'll be live on Sportsnet Central after our show. The Jack Adams will be handed out today. So obviously we don't know the answer to that. We're not privy to that information. So let's talk about who we think could be walking away with that trophy. Like if you were a Bran from Game of Thrones, like who are you seeing? I don't know if you watched that, but like who are you seeing with that trophy?
I didn't, but
just that's what you have to do, Bran.
Bran. Okay, so I'll ask you a question to answer that one. What should the Jack Adams be? Should it be I coach the best team, or I coach the team that you expected to suck and they don't?
Okay, well, I already know that it's number 2 for you, which I agree with. I think. You
think? Because
I'm not sure.
A friend of mine said Bruce Cassidy because
I saw your friend say that, and I don't agree.
Well, Boston Bruins went to the Stanley Cup final last year, and then they won the President's Trophy this year. So they
they had the same team basically.
But they maintained their excellence, which is a difficult thing to do in this league. Listen, no. I'm regurgitating his talking points. I don't even believe in this. We got Alain Vigneault, who, the Flyers did better than I expected, but show me a good goalie, I'll show you a good coach. There's John Tortorella losing his mind. That's why his team's good, because he yells at them. And then you got Bruce Cassidy, probably campaigning to the refs. So weird. I've never seen the Bruins do that ever once in my life. Vigneault sort of wins wherever he goes. There's Cassidy checking a tweet about
he's watching our chat room.
That's his
he's in the
account.
Chat.
Steve Dangle
Bruce
doesn't know what he's talking about.
Is in the chat. I'm sure we're going to see his name pop up. Okay, so I am thinking I want to see what people are saying in the chat as well. Maybe put a bear if you think the Cassidy? Bruins, and then what would you put as an emoji for the Columbus Blue Jackets? Like, isn't there a cannon? Okay.
Oh, a cannon or a
cannon? Just pick one. Hurry! A cannon, and then if for the Flyers,
a bird.
A bird. Okay, so let's see. Throw it in the chat who you think is going to win. I'm going to go with AV. I think he turned the Flyers into like a top 6 team after they were like bad last year. I'm just going to say bad last year. And I mean, a 9-game winning streak to kind of make it into the playoffs and push them up the standings to me was big. I don't want to give it to Bruins Cassidy. Like here's a great team. Just keep them from falling off the rails. Like that, to me, that's not enough. So I'm going to say throw a bird in the chat for me.
I'll throw a cannon in there. I say torts.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll see in about an hour and 15 minutes and see who's right. And if we're both wrong, then I'll be disappointed. So we have Robert Moloy in the chat who says, the chat room or Ailish tries to keep Steve on track for about 45 minutes. It's pretty accurate, Robert. So I get paid the big bucks?
Listen,
nope.
Rob's always in here. Rob, you need to calm it down. All right.
No, keep it going.
Who's moderating this? Who's moderating this? Block that. Oh wait, Rob moderates my channel. Sorry.
Okay. Final note on the coaching debate is Salvatore Ianni will be torts because his team beat the Leafs in the first round, and the voters will love that. I don't remember that happening.
This was voted on before that happened. Salvatore, there's
all right, Salvatore.
What?
Sorry.
The earliest I've walked off a show.
Okay, come back. We still have like some time to kill. I can't do it alone.
Fine.
All right. Next topic also revolves around coaches. Now this one, I'm not sure if you might remember the name, but there was this guy. He coached the Leafs. Mike Babcock. Mike Babcock, I think it was. No. And he landed an interview with the Washington Capitals last week. So
good for him.
I don't know if you heard that. It was a little bit of a buzz on Twitter. Just blew over really quick.
There are certain fan bases I make pretty mad. The Capitals and I have been really cool over the years.
Not for long.
I made them pretty mad the other day because I sent a tweet and it made them very upset because, believe it or not, they're not totally stoked on the idea of Mike
Shocking.
Babcock being their coach. But I honestly think it could happen. Yeah, here it is. Here's
your tweet.
all went downhill where I said, it's very happening. And look, I just followed the trail. Russian machine never breaks. The Athletic's Michael Russo says the Capitals turned their bubble experience into a vacation and they had no interest in being there. The Capitals certainly looked listless on the ice for most of the 2020 playoffs and were upset in the first round by former coach Barry Trotz and the New York Islanders in 5 games. Capitals head coach Todd Reirden was fired days later after GM Brian McClellan cited the need for a new experienced bench boss who could push some buttons on some players, some good players. And then there's Mike Babcock there and Gerard Gallant. They both interviewed for the vacant Capitals head coach their position. How's that?
Oh, I hate that voice.
Oh, me too. I'm really jacked. I don't have to listen to it slurp coconut water every press conference. But listen, the GM is mad. They need to push some buttons on some good players. Who are some good players on the Washington Capitals? I don't know. You tell me. Mike Babcock is available. Mike Babcock has interviewed for this position. But Steve, the Washington Capitals do not spend money on their coaches. Yeah, they just lost to the guy they wouldn't pay the last time.
How'd that work out?
I'm wondering if they're thinking it should have gone the opposite way. Maybe we should have paid this guy. That's what Dave Haxtell's going. Maybe they should have paid Barry Trotz. Yeah, I know. No, for sure they should have paid him. Yeah, I'm going to put you on the 4th line. I'm barely going to play. I don't care if you score a hat trick there, buddy. He does wear the heck out of a dress shirt, though. He really does. Washington Capitals fans, if you're watching this, I do think there is a distinct possibility Mike Babcock is your next head coach.
Wow. How much ice time do you think he's going to give Ovi?
A solid 15 and a half.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'll take the under.
I would say Mike Babcock is not stupid. He's just stubborn. You know what I mean? Like he'll play him, but he will find a guy who he just loves for no good reason.
I was just going to see if Mike Babcock was in the chat, but someone else is in the chat that says 2 morons talk about nothing.
Well, no, that was Mike Babcock and Dave Haxtell, and how dare you? They worked hard to get to where they were, and they're on an NHL bench, and you're not. So how is that? Right. What was that person's name? I've already forgotten it. Life? Great.
Their name was Life.
Damn. Well,
Life hits you hard, eh?
Life has been hitting me like that for the last 6 months. Was that? That's from M. Babcock in the chat.
Screw you two. I hate you. All right, moving on.
Whippersnappers.
Okay. Please keep the comments up because it just fuels me for days to come. All right. So, we have one final comment on that from Single Walk Run. I think Gallant would be a better hire. Yes, I definitely agree with that. I think the system, if he brought his systems into Washington, they would be incredible. I think that's the way they should be going, in my personal opinion, but I don't make the rules around here. So
I think Gerard Gallant hockey is fun hockey. And when I think fun, I think Washington Capitals. You're right. That's the fit.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. That's the fit. We can't control it. So great.
Not bad for 2 morons.
Bunch of idiots. Okay. So we've now talked about goalies and coaches and coaches and goalies. So here's just another one to throw into the mix. The Freddy Andersen trade rumor machine is heating up. So let's pour some gas on the fire because I know you like to talk about this, and so do our loyal fans in the chat. So there's conversations happening. We've definitely heard some rumblings. You know, I love when there's tidbits being floated around Twitter, but it looks like whispers. It looks like Dubas has said to Freddie, hey, we're not shopping you. We're just kind of like seeing what's out there. And Carolina was out there, and there's all these rumors. So you know more than me. So what's going on?
Well, I do. I have gotten the impression that because, speaking of Mike Babcock from the last conversation, he took a lot of heat for riding Freddie a little too hard, and 55, 60 games was too much. And they didn't have an adequate backup behind him. From what I've heard, Freddy Andersen was a more than willing partner in all of that. He wants the net. And I mean, geez, look at these saves. You can see why. Whoa! Wow, a save against the Bruins. I love it. Oh, and another team that eliminated him. Who put together this pack? Freddy Andersen wants the net. And then when you hear about goalies sort of calling the shots, and we know for a fact that he definitively called a shot this season when the Leafs had a back-to-back with the Flyers and the Avs. He lost the first one and he said, no, I'm playing the second. They lost that one too. I think when the players start calling the shots like that and they don't necessarily have the results, then you look at making a move. And besides that, the Leafs aren't going to be able to afford his next contract. And to Freddy Andersen's credit, he's played himself into being unaffordable for the Leafs. So he's got 1 year left, $5 million, $1 million in actual cash. In this economy, in the current weird world that we're in the situation that life has handed us after calling us two morons, Freddy Andersen could be a very appealing goalie to some teams, and Carolina makes a lot of sense.
Okay, Steve, I need you to give me your honest, truthful soul answer. What should the Maple Leafs do? Release or sign? We all need to know, and I want to hear it. Give me your most passionate answer.
Trade Freddy. Love him. I'm sure you got a jersey and I'm sure you love it and it fits just right. But the Leafs have too often over the past year and a bit had an obvious situation in front of them and not pulled the trigger. I think this is a situation where you get the value now.
Ooh, boy. How about Matt Murray?
Okay, now listen, they better replace him with a good goalie. And here's the problem. You say 2 good cups and I say back-to-back pretty bad seasons after that. So it's a very interesting situation. And I wish people would get off of Matt Murray like he's the only name available.
Well,
you know what I mean?
That's the chat thinks so. One of the only names.
Oh, the chat. What does the chat know? Come up with some better names.
Everybody in the chat is smarter than us, Steve. That's how it works.
Listen, I'm just saying, if Freddie goes to Carolina, there's a goalie I would like back in return. There's a goalie I want returned to my life. I would like Rhyme Time and Jack Campbell would be the friendliest tandem in the league. I would love it. They would have their own show on Treehouse. It would be amazing.
Okay, quick question from Ovi105. Oh, it disappeared in the chat. It's a bummer, but I think Ovi105 Ovi105 said, do you see Holtby coming back? And then I lost the rest of it. Sorry.
There's a similar situation, except for the Capitals, it seems so much more logical. You have an extraordinarily expensive starter, and you have your goalie of the future behind him. Okay. Let the goalie of the future give him the net, unless you're going to bring Holtby back for like 1 year, which I think some players will be convinced of that. If he wants long-term, bye-bye.
All right. That's all I needed. Don't go any deeper into that.
Okay.
It's time to move on.
For that topic. Okay.
Yeah, gotcha. For that topic. Gotcha. Because it's time to drop the gloves. I'm not sure if there's any music, but this would be a great time for like Eye of the Tiger to play.
Yeah, and we just get like our whole channel taken down because you're like, I want the Rocky song.
Yeah, that's right. I used to listen to that before games. It's so embarrassing. Okay, so our Drop the Glove segment, this is something that's been floating around Twitter, and a lot of people have quite hot takes about it, so hopefully you do as well. It's which Canadian NHL team is closest to winning the Stanley Cup next year?
Oh. Well, this year,
the answer is none.
Yeah. Well, and it's so weird that this conversation would come up. Like, who possibly would say something so inflammatory on Twitter.com? Like, was there a particular tweet that we could show from? I mean, it must have been a cantankerous.
Right there.
Oh, Sid Sixero. Like, this guy would just flag me down to argue with me in the office.
Stirring the pot.
The Calder Cup means nothing, Steve. He said no one's close. No one is close.
He double down on it. No one.
No one with his sunglasses, which he's just wearing those in the picture to let you know he's unbothered.
Yeah.
Who do you think is the closest team, Ailish?
Okay. I struggled with this because there's a little bit of recency bias with the Canucks, but I am going to say the Edmonton Oilers. I have faith that their core is solid, set in stone, and I think they're definitely in their contention window, and it's just some little puzzle pieces that they need to place together. I mean, obviously they didn't make it very far in the playoffs, and the Blackhawks had some say in that situation, but I think the Oilers They just need someone to help on their top six. I didn't think James Neal would be my long-term option, even though he was electric factory early on. You know who they would really benefit from? I don't know if anyone's thought a bit about this, but maybe getting someone like Taylor Hall.
Yeah, that guy's got a future. That guy's definitely got a future.
I think he'll be pretty good. Like, I could definitely see him in the Oilers jersey. I think he would fit in quite well. So if they could just snag someone like Taylor Hall, I think that they're right in the conversation. So I'm going to go with the Edmonton Oilers.
Well, I'm going to take them right out of the conversation because.
All right. I knew you would.
In a normal year, in a normal playoff format, they wouldn't be able to even get out of the second round because they would run into the Vancouver Canucks.
Oh,
they'd run into the Vancouver Canucks and they would run away with the Pacific Division. I was really bullish on them this summer. People talked about their salary cap situation, and yeah, it's a dog's breakfast. It's not very good going forward, but don't let that cloud the fact that despite the fact that they don't have much flexibility going forward, they assembled a really good team. And well, there's them getting scored on. That's not very good. But
that looked really good, Steve.
They assembled a good young team. Demko, who knows? Hopefully he can be a starter.
Oh, another goal against. Look at this highlight video.
Who put this together? I don't like this.
The Canucks are so good, Steve. Wow.
Now, you want an extra hot take? To me, the Canucks are the closest Canadian team to winning the Stanley Cup. I would say, and this is going to shock some people, I think the Leafs are the best Canadian team. I do. They're the best Canadian team on paper. They always perform in the regular season. They have star power. They should get better with age. What have they done in the playoffs? The question was not who's the best. It's who is the closest to winning the Stanley Cup, and they're not close. I don't think anyone's close. I think Sid nailed it.
What are people thinking in our chat? What are you saying, folks? Who is the closest? I can't give you all the emojis, so just scream it out there. No, any Ottawa Senators fans? I mean, they're drafting. If they draft on par for the next 80 drafts that they have picks for, they would be unstoppable. So the Ottawa Senators might be a sleeper pick in this drop the glove segment. I don't know.
I'm just saying, we talked about it a little last show. The Habs have cap space. They have a lot of picks. Can someone finally do an offer sheet? They tried to get Aho.
I know.
Keep going, Mark. Let's get nuts.
We need to make a wish list for the offseason of things we need, and that is definitely, I need the offer sheet drama.
A successful offer sheet. I need it.
Hook it to
I
my
need
veins.
it in my life. I need it.
Okay, so Canucks, Oilers. We'll see. We'll see you next season and see who takes this drop the glove segment, but good fight. Guess we should move on.
Good fight.
Ding, 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 the end. I don't know. We both hold up I don't watch wrestling or fighting, but we both have our arms up and they crown us both winners.
Yeah, you sound, no, it's not quite how it works.
I'm going to see who they vote for. So our fans. Okay. The next segment is, this was a very popular segment on Twitter, the wagon or the bandwagon. Now, we know what the wagon means, and we're going to stand with it. So
good team.
Great team. A wagon is someone that we support, that we want to just showcase.
Yeah, people cannot get enough of Steve's wagon.
Steve's wagon was trending.
Almost. Oh, when does it not? Come on.
Yeah. Well, anywho, okay, so we're going to start with your wagon or my wagon?
Start with your wagon.
Okay. I can't get that out of my head now. All right. My wagon. This was a fun one. So this is a recent wagon that's come up in the Twitter sphere, but rumors that Wayne Simmons may make a trip to the Toronto Maple Leafs roster this upcoming season, and I am on the wagon for Steve Simmons. Wayne.
Whoa. That I am off the wagon. No.
Hell no. Oh my God.
Can you imagine the Leafs signed him and we're just like, you've been talking smack all this time. You get out there and do it. It's your turn. You get on defense, Steve.
Can you imagine the locker room drama that would cause? Different stalls, like he'd be in his own corner. Okay, we got to move on. I'm so sorry.
I hate this guy. He never back checks. He always forgets tape.
Ooh, I'm sweating. Okay, Steve Dangle, Wayne Simmons. Don't combine them. So, all right. Wayne Simmons would be a great addition for the Toronto Maple Leafs, especially if he's going to upgrade Clifford, because there's rumors you can't have both. So I think he could be an upgrade on the Clifford situation. He said that he's been, training really hard, like a beast in the gym. He's going to come back to full health. And I think he could definitely make obviously a huge impact for the Maple Leafs, especially and only if he's able to sign an affordable short-term deal. I think we can speak for him, saying his best years might be behind him, but if he can sign kind of like a team-friendly deal and make a year or two impact, then I don't see why it's not a great decision. Leafs fans were pretty excited about the idea on Twitter, and I'm going to jump on that wagon.
The Steve Simmons bandwagon. No. And to your point, it's so rare that you hear a player go, "Yeah, I'd sign with the Leafs." Mm-hmm. Like just outright say it. He's at a point in his career, like he's made lots of money, and he wants what's right for him. To the point where he accepted a trade to the Sabres at the trade deadline so he could be closer to Toronto. Oof, what's close to Toronto? Toronto, and yes. I wonder if he would look at it like Tyler Ennis did a couple summers ago, where he's like, you know what? I can go to the Leafs. I can rehab there. They have great facilities, and whether he sticks around or not is up to him. But it could be very good for at least 1 year.
Sorry, there's such a good comment.
What is it? Can you say it?
Yeah. Ton dude says Steve Simmons is better than Marner, but Steve, Simmons is better than Marner. It's good. Steve, Simmons is better than Marner.
Okay, well, grammar, kids, it's very important. Also, no. What? No. Although I will say,
I love it.
The neighborhood I grew up in will lose their mind if Steve Simmons signs with the Leafs, because
Stop saying Steve Simmons.
Did I say no?
You said Steve Simmons now. We need to move on. I need to
I'm going to call him the Wayne train. The neighborhood I grew up in, which is the same neighborhood that Wayne Simmons grew up in, has been dying for the Wayne train to sign with the Leafs. We've been campaigning for years. He went to a middle school just up the street from me. One of my best friends, a groomsman in my wedding. He broke his collarbone in a game of tackle soccer, because that's what we did in Scarborough. It was a lot of fun. If Wayne train comes home, it'll be a huge day for Rouge Hill and East Scarborough.
We love it. Good old Rouge Hill. Okay, so we're going to move on to your wagon. And just as we segue, I want to tell you that Drew Crawford in the chat says his wagon of the week is the Lightning. So, I mean, pretty good pick,
wow.
But it came out of nowhere, really.
At least you said your wagon right, and you didn't go, the Panthers or something like that.
Don't jinx us. Okay, let's give everyone your wagon, Steve. They're asking for it.
Sometimes a team has a dog's breakfast of a season, like the New Jersey Devils did, and then they make an excellent hire in the offseason that I think could turn it all around. And for me, that's the Devils getting Mark Recchi. I think adding him to their coaching staff, I should say. To me, he is exactly
on the ice. Wow.
He's back. He couldn't get enough. Well, and I looked it up. Between regular season and playoffs, he played 1,841 games. In playoff games all time, he's 26th. In regular season, he's 6th. This guy has been around forever. There's nothing like you're the buffer, right? As the assistant coach, and you vent to him whenever the head coach is making you upset, pissing you off. There's nothing he hasn't seen over the past quarter century plus in the NHL. He's won Stanley Cup with 3 different teams. I remember a story that I heard of a young Sidney Crosby, who was a teammate of Mark Recchi's. And supposedly, the story goes, he campaigned to the ref, listen, can you give him a penalty? Because he won't shut his mouth. He tried to get the ref to call a penalty on his own player. But I mean, Sidney Crosby turned out all right. I'm not saying that's because of Mark Recchi, but I'm sure he was a big part of his development. And you look at the young talent that the Devils have, he could have a huge influence on them. I think that's a huge wagon of a hire.
All right. Well, now that we've made it mostly through our show, don't forget to subscribe. We just need to throw that in there, everyone. I know you're watching. It's right there. Just like hit the button, subscribe, and get in the chat because we definitely need some more content from you, especially those comments. We're losing our minds. So please tell us all about how you are feeling and if you agree with the Wagons or any ideas for the Wagons next week. And who knows, we'll look at the Wagon, we'll circle the Wagons next week and see how they're turning out. Maybe Wayne Simmons will be a Leaf.
Yeah, or let us know what other columnists should be signed to an NHL contract and just thrown to the Wolves. Let us know.
I'll sign.
See, that would actually go well. You can do crossovers and stuff. Like if it's like some random blogger, I think it's funnier. You might actually like score.
Yeah, that's kind of boring then. Okay, question for you, Steve. From I think it's Zion 11 maybe. Why hasn't Recchi been given the chance to be a head coach yet?
He's only been an assistant for 3 years, so I don't think it's necessarily that he hasn't been given the chance. I think he's
earned his due now, maybe.
Yeah, he's got to earn his dues, and you also got to remember in the NHL, it's like the same 40 guys for 31, soon to be 32 jobs. So it's difficult to become part of that conversation. But tell you what, if the Devils turn into the wagon that I think they could under Mark Recchi, could be a head coach very soon.
All right. Well, let's move on to Steve's Dangets because we just cannot wait to see this. It's going to be a good one. And also my A-list because we need to off-center and make sure everyone leaves on a happy note as well. So who's on your Dangets or what's your Danget this week?
It's not always necessarily a miss from a player. This one is a miss from basically everybody. This was a goal, or is it a goal, from game 1 of the Tampa Bay Lightning against the New York Islanders. Great play from the Lightning. Holds. Here we go. Patrick Maroon, all the patience in the world, puts it behind him. Oh, how did he blow that? Well, the answer is he didn't. That's an easy goal. Every day that's a goal. What are you talking about? Looking at it over the line? Way over the line. Where was the ref looking? It's not even, how do you can review that on your phone. Yeah, thanks for that there, Tips. Yanni Gord, I knew it was in.
Oh, wow.
That's a huge dang it that we even wasted time and didn't know that was a goal in the first place. That didn't cross by a sliver. That was over by a couple fists.
Everybody makes mistakes, Steve. Just like me.
Yes, and we should make fun of them for it.
Recent conversation. Okay. So let's talk about my A-list because this one is a very important one this week. So Bobby Ryan wins the Masterton Trophy and deserves all the praise for an incredible achievement that he did. Back in November, he left the Sens for personal reasons and he didn't really need to share the reason why, but he spoke really bravely and openly about his alcohol addiction. And I think it's just a really important thing to note that athletes a lot of time we're kind of told to be tough and to not show weakness and to not really, be our authentic selves at times. And I think what Bobby Ryan did is hopefully a really good motivator for all athletes that may be facing, either mental health struggles or substance abuse. And hopefully they use him as a way to feel inspired to speak up and seek help. So Bobby Ryan leading the way in a really difficult year. And he definitely deserved the Masterton Award trophy this year. So we definitely wanted to highlight that in my A-list this week. So go Bobby Ryan. And I'm excited to see, the rest of the trophies being handed out. Oscar Lindblom was a nominee for that. And I think, next year when we see him back on the ice full time, he should be the one that wins that one next year. So very exciting.
Absolutely. Ooh, seeing into the future.
Bran.
We'll see. I'm getting it now. I'm getting that show that I never watched. I'm getting it.
Well, you should watch it. Don't actually start because you'll lose your sanity. Oh. Okay, so I guess that's it for us. I don't ever want to stop talking. It's so much fun, and everyone in the chat loves these two morons.
Yeah, just a couple morons talking, and
it's perfect.
You should subscribe.
And you should subscribe.
The rest of us being stupid
every week. So tonight we'll be seeing Game 2 of Tampa and New York Islanders tonight it'll be on CBC at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, but also you can stream the game on Sportsnet now. So when you're done listening to these two morons, you go watch us and see if our predictions come true. And what are you predicting, Steve? I'm saying 4-1 Tampa.
I think the Islanders are going to force Tampa into their territory after that sloppy loss. I'm thinking it's going to be a 2-1 grind for the Islanders.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I would actually be intrigued to see that. So kind of hope you're right.
Me too. So remember, if your name is Steve or Wayne or whatever it is, subscribe and tune in next week.
Yes, everybody please subscribe regardless of your name, and thank you all so much for tuning in for episode 2, week 2. You came back and that's all that matters. So we're getting a lot of great feedback from episode 1 and we want to thank you, and keep sending us stuff throughout the week if you wanted to be in the show or you just want to bug us, because that's totally fine and you're going to do that anyway. So that's all for now, folks. WAGON.